I understand why you're mad. I get it. If I was the owner of the laughingstock of the NFL, if I was the owner of one of the worst run franchises in the last 25, 30 years, I'd be pissed off about it too. But Jerry Jones, you're taking your frustration out on the wrong people. I can understand it if you were taking out your frustration on Dak Prescott, who is without a doubt the most overrated and damn sure the most overpaid quarterback in the league. Every year, Dak Prescott, he is elite when it comes to one thing: disappointment. I could understand Jerry Jones' frustration with Mike McCarthy. I could understand his frustration with the Dallas defense or the complete lack thereof. But at the end of the day, Jerry Jones only has one man to blame for the Cowboys' decades-long history of huge embarrassing failure. If Jerry Jones wants to point blame, it should be at himself. He damn sure shouldn't be taking out his frustrations on some doofus local radio host in Dallas. I mean, what the hell are you doing? What is with these men in leadership, high power positions in the NFL acting on emotion? These emotional outbursts, they're not limited to Jerry Jones. Mickey Lumis, he does the same thing in New Orleans. Ask Mickey Lumis why the Saints are a constant failure. Ask Mickey Lumis why he places continuity over winning. Ask Mickey Lumis why he continues to employ the worst head coach in the history of the NFL. Not the worst head coach in the league right now. I am calling Dennis Allen the worst coach in the history of the NFL. Saw a stat earlier today. Dennis Allen has coached 40 games against teams above 500. His record in those 40 games, 4-36. And two of those wins, they came against Gardner Minshew. Two of those wins came against a quarterback who has no business starting in this league. And yet, for some reason, Mickey Lumis goes on WWL radio today in New Orleans with Bobby Hebert, and he continues to defend Dennis Allen. Oh, you know, Bob, Denise is one hell of a coach. It's the injuries, Bob. It's those damn injuries. If we weren't so banged up, we would be the best team in the league. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. Excuse me? Injuries? You're blaming the Saints' huge embarrassing failure on injuries? Year one of the Dennis disaster, you blamed the lack of a starting quarterback. Year two of the Dennis disaster, you blamed offensive coordinator Peter Beater Carmichael. Year three of the Dennis disaster, and you're blaming injuries. What are we going to blame next year? Because I doubt Mickey Lumis fires Denise, because then he would have to admit that he fucked up. So what are we going to blame next year, Mickey? Father Time, the AIDS epidemic, the humidity in New Orleans? What the hell is it with these dudes in powerful positions in the NFL and their constant excuses? Their constant need to blame someone else for their huge embarrassing failure. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel description below. Earlier today, we talked about Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer already being on the hot seat and the possibility that he might get fired. Jerry Jones has done a lot of good for the NFL. He's basically the voice of NFL owners. He's instrumental in negotiating TV deals. Several years ago, when Colin Kaepernick traded in his helmet for a set of knee pads and started kneeling for the national anthem, I think Jerry Jones was instrumental in getting Colin kicked out of the league. Jerry Jones is a great ambassador for the NFL, but as a team owner, and more specifically as a general manager, he sucks. I don't know how Cowboys fans deal with it. I don't want the owner being the face of the team. I don't want the owner involving himself in every aspect of building the roster. That is one area. That is one area where I will give Gail Benson credit. She stays the hell out of the way. She hires people to handle the day-to-day operations. She hires people who know what they're doing to build the team. Now, whether or not David Griffin and Mickey Lumis actually know what they're doing, that's a different story. But either way, Gail Benson, she stays the hell out of it. Not Jerry Jones, though. No! It would not surprise me if Jerry Jones has access to Mike McCarthy's headset and he's calling plays and telling him what to do during the games. Every Tuesday morning, Uncle Jerry, he appears on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, where he talks to some duo named RJ and Shan. Well, KC, is Shannon Sharp JR's co-host? Nah, the grown man who calls himself Shay, he's all over the place, but I don't think he really has the time to be appearing on local radio in Dallas. I have no idea who JR and Shan are, but they were passionately lectured by Jerry Jones this morning. Now, in their defense, they were just doing their job. As a Saints fan, if Mickey Lumis agreed to come on my channel, which I doubt he ever would because Uncle KC would ask the tough questions, with the first question being, why in the hell haven't you fired Dennis Allen? But in their defense, though, RJ and Shay, they were just doing their job. They were asking Uncle Jerry about the Cowboys' struggles. I'm sure they were asking why he's paying Dak Prescott $60 million a year when Dakota has won a total of 2 playoff games. 2! Dose! Now, I'm no expert in math, but I asked the resident math expert here on the channel, Mina Kimes, to break down the amount of money that Dak is making per playoff win. Mina, she immediately got back to me, and she explained that Dakota's averaging $30 million per playoff win. That ain't bad money if you can get it. But all kidding aside, the questions that JR and Shay were asking Jerry Jones, these were basic questions considering the circumstances. Questions that I'm sure Jerry Jones has been asked countless times over the last 30 years. I mean, if you can't ask Jerry Jones about the Cowboys struggling, what the hell is there really to talk about? This team has done nothing but struggle since the mid-90s when Jerry allowed his ego to fire Jimmy Johnson. But here is the exchange between Jerry Jones and the Dallas duo. Listen for yourself.
If you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something, and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
First of all, what the hell is Jerry Jones talking about? You're throwing all the good out with the dishwater. Good? What good? Someone please explain to me the good in Dallas in the last 25 or 30 years. You haven't had a franchise quarterback since Troy Aikman, maybe Tony Romo. This year, your 3 wins, they have came against Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, and Justin Fields. 3 quarterbacks who are likely to be washing dishes in Jerry's dishwater here in the next 12 to 18 months. You are 0-3 at home this year, with your 3 losses being absolute beatdowns. Well, KC, that's not true. We only lost to the Ravens by 3. Yeah, that's because John Harbaugh graciously allowed the Cowboys to pretend to sneak back into that game. That game was over by halftime, just like their games against the Lions and the Saints. And speaking of the Saints, your Cowboys, your team got their ass kicked by one of the worst teams in the league At home, you got your ass kicked by Donnie Carr. You got your ass kicked by Denise Allen, arguably the worst head coach quarterback combo in the entire league. And it's not Mike McCarthy's fault. It's not Dak Prescott's fault. It's Jerry's fault. You're the guy that's paying them. You're the guy who made Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the league. That clip I just shared with you guys, that is one of the many reasons why the Dallas Cowboys struggle to find a competent head coach. Or I guess I should say a winning head coach. Listen to this list of head coaches in Dallas since the Jimmy Johnson era. And I'm not including Barry Switzer since, he won a Super Bowl with Jimmy's team. Chan Gailey, Dave Campo. I think I bought my first computer from Dave Campo in the mid-90s. Before he was managing the Cowboys, he used to manage an electronics store called Campo's. Great service, great prices, bad coaching. Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. Now, outside of Bill Parcells, what do all those head coaches have in common? They're all yes men. They were all easily controlled by Jerry Jones. That's why Jerry and Jimmy Johnson didn't get along. Jerry wanted to do things one way, and Jimmy Johnson, he wanted to do things the right way. Jimmy Johnson wanted to win Super Bowls, and he kept telling Jerry Jones to get the hell out of the way. Go back to selling oil or whatever the hell you do, and let the people who know what the hell they're doing coach the team. Jerry Jones couldn't do it. And now to his credit, outside of hiring Bill Parcells, Jerry Jones never hired another coach that he couldn't control ever again. He never made that mistake again, and it's also the reason he's never won another Super Bowl. And the Cowboys, they've been the laughingstock of the league for the last 25 or 30 years. Jerry Jones can't get out of his own way. I remember maybe it's been 7 years ago now. People in New Orleans, they were worried because Jerry Jones, he was trying to recruit Sean Payton. During the offseason, Sean Payton was living in Dallas. Drew Brees, he was nearing the end of his career. Jason Garrett was the latest coaching disaster in Dallas. Jerry Jones, he was trying to lure Sean Payton to Dallas. He was willing to break the bank in order to get a real coach. Now, as a Saints fan, me personally, I was never worried about it. I knew Sean Payton was not leaving New Orleans for Dallas. Why? Because Sean Payton is a coach who wants complete and total control of his program, and Jerry Jones would never allow that to happen. Make no mistake about it, that emotional outburst this morning, that should be absolutely humiliating for Jerry Jones. This is a multi-billionaire. This is the owner of the most high-profile team and the most high-profile league in the country, and he is threatening the jobs of local radio host? Really? Give me your thoughts on it. Jerry Jones, emotional meltdown on local radio in Dallas. Basically threatens the job of the host, RJ and Shan. I don't understand what it is with these powerful men. They always seem to be looking to blame anyone but themselves for their own failures. I don't get it. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. See you guys tomorrow.